Hi guys, my name is Johnny, and today we're going to be talking about NFTs or non-fungible tokens and its real value to you. Now, before I continue, nothing I say here is financial advice. It is for informational and educational purposes only. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So by now, you may have heard about NFTs or non-fungible tokens. Now, before we dive into what NFTs are, let's take a look at what it really is functionally. So when we look at the Ethereum network, we're looking at some standards. And so tokens, for example, are driven off of the ERC20 standard. And so they are tokens that we can exchange. And so they're tokens such as Olympus DAO, Shiba, and so many others. Now, non-fungible tokens run off the ERC 721, which is essentially an asset class. And so what that means is that it creates a contract where you are the sole owner of that token and no one else can own it and it can't be replicated. So essentially an ERC 721 asset is non-fungible, whereas an ERC20 is a fungible token. And if you're still pretty confused about what that is, you have an address, which is your Ethereum address, and it's saying that you own this asset, which is also this other address here. So what does that all really mean? When we look at OpenSeas, it is one of the premier marketplaces for NFTs, and people are buying things like CryptoPunks and a bunch of other artwork for insane amounts of money. Now, when I got into this, I was asking, what is the real value of owning a picture of something? Are you the real owner of it? This other Australian artist going by the name of Jeffrey Huntley actually created a website and downloaded all of the NFTs and put it up for everyone to download. And so then it really asks you the question, what are the real value of these NFTs if they're just JPEG images that you supposedly own? I mean, there's really nothing stopping me from going into OpenSeas, taking a screenshot or downloading the picture of it myself. And we still ask ourselves, what is the real value of NFTs? So I dug in a little deeper. And where it's going and where its value is starting to proliferate in the metaverse. So as I was scouring through, looking for different tokens and kind of just doing some research, I decided that I wanted to play around with. So what I did was I stumbled across Decentraland and I heard that you could play poker, and I was actually in the mood of wanting to play some poker. So I went ahead and I wanted to participate in Decentraland. So I created an avatar, I went on the website, and I was walking around. So let me find another table here. Let me see if I can go play. So I'm gonna check into play. But here's the thing. You can't play unless you have an ICE wearable. And so what that is, it's really just an article of clothing that you have to have on, which could be a pair of sunglasses, a cigar, a shirt, shoes, something that signifies that you are a poker player in this world. And so I'm thinking, sure, why not? Let's go ahead and get myself an ICE wearable. So I go ahead and venture off into the marketplace. I go ahead and sign in. And of course, everything here is minted. And so I would love to play some poker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get some glasses on the secondary market. So I'm going off to the secondary market now to do this. Now, we're looking at getting a cigar, which is 2,700 mana. So we're looking at 386. Multiply that by 2,700. And I'm looking at $10,000 to buy a cigar. It's $10,000 to buy a cigar just so that way I can play poker. Now, really, what's the value in that, and why would I even want to why would I even want to spend that much money? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Because there's an arbitrarily low supply of these items, people are spending lots and lots of money, but outside of just the lack of supply, what value is there on spending this kind of money on an NFT? These items actually exist as an NFT to your character. And so when you have that NFT assigned to your account, it populates onto your character. And ta-da, you can go and play poker. Now, I'm not going to be spending $10,000, but what's the value? So in this game, you can actually earn ICE tokens for playing poker, which is really cool. And the ICE tokens can be exchanged for other cryptocurrencies or stablecoins so you can cash out. Now, I think that's really fascinating. But when I was going into this and I'm looking at the marketplace, I'm looking for the cheapest thing to buy because I just want to play poker. So Decentraland has created value behind an NFT where it is a barrier to entry to access certain functions and parts of their ecosystem. Now enter someone like me that's just walked in and said, hey, I would love to play poker, but I do not have $10,000 to buy a cigar just so I could sit down and play poker. So they have this really interesting function where they can delegate. So other people that aren't playing poker can delegate that NFT to you, which is in the form of a hat, a jacket, or whatever. And here's the other cool part of it, is that they get a percentage of your earnings. And so now it becomes an asset that generates passive income for you just lending out that NFT to someone else. Now, we're not going to go too deep into the types of NFTs, but the different types of clothing gives you different types of perks. So it's mind-blowing to see that they are creating value behind NFTs this very way because it can translate into real money. And so how to get it delegated, you have to join the Discord server and then you have to go in, sign up and say, hey, I would like an item delegated to me. And now this is just one facet of how NFTs actually can give people value depending on the ecosystem that you are in. There are tons of other things in the metaverse. There's tons of different tokens and games, and you can tokenize properties. There are so many things out there. And so when we look at the value of NFTs, from a technical sense, it's just assigning ownership of a digital asset to an address. Now, what that asset means is defined by the people and the ecosystem that's in it, and then the value of it is partly determined by the supply and demand, but also its utility to the users in that space. I am on this search for other metaverse projects that haven't launched yet, that have great potential, so that way it can pay its own dividends in the future. So I will be doing a few videos next week covering some of these new projects that I found that I would love to share with you. So for now, this is all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon.